Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Sushil Khatka, and this is Mool Rahasya Gurukul, which translates as the School of Root Secrets. That name was chosen very deliberately because what we teach here is not surface astrology, it is deep, hidden intelligence that sits beneath the visible patterns of your life. This free course is called Decode Your Life Through Jyotish Foundations, and it marks the opening of our school community. So, if you are watching this right now, you are among the very first people to step through this door. Welcome to the beginning. In this course, we are going to do something unusual. We're not going to predict your future. We're not going to give you a list of lucky days or tell you which gemstones to wear. Instead, we are going to hand you a map, a genuine, sophisticated, ancient map, and teach you to read it yourself. That map is called Jyotish, and by the time you finish these four modules, I promise you, you will see your life completely different. Not because I have told you who you are, but because you've begun to see it for yourself. Let's begin. Most of us experience life as a sequence of events that just happen. A good year here, a difficult stretch there, a relationship that bloomed unexpectedly, a career path that seemed to stall for no clear reason. We work hard, we try to be conscious, and yet there is so often this underlying sense that life is somehow happening to us rather than through us. Jyotish, the Vedic science of light, offers a radically different perspective. It says your life is not random, it has a structure, it has intelligence, and that intelligence was encoded at the precise moment of your birth. Your birth chart is not a prediction, it is a map of your karma, your timing, your natural strengths, and your deepest tendencies. It is the most personal document that exists about you, and most people have never been taught to read it properly. This is what this course is here to change. We have four modules in this foundation course. Module 1, what Jyotish really is. We are going to dismantle the myths and give you the true philosophical foundation. Module 2, the language of the chart. Every chart is written in a language. We are going to teach you the alphabet, the planets, the houses, and the signs so that the whole system becomes readable. Module 3, why life has phases. Have you ever had the experience of working equally hard in two different years and getting completely different results? That mystery has a name in Jyotish. It is called Dasa, and it will change how you understand your own lifetime. Module 4, the hidden layer. This is where Mool Rahasya Gurukul diverges most sharply from conventional astrology. We are going to go beneath planets and signs into the elemental layer, the level of consciousness itself. As the slides say, and I mean this genuinely, by the end of this course, you will not just understand astrology, you will see yourself differently. Let that be the invitation. Let me say something clearly right at the start of the module 1 because it is the most important thing I can tell you about Jyotish. Your chart does not control you, it reveals patterns. You are always the author. For centuries, perhaps millennia, astrology has been misused as a fortune telling system. This year will be bad. Saturn is coming for you. You are a Scorpio, so you are secretive and intense. This kind of astrology creates a passive relationship with fate. It puts you on the receiving end of forces you cannot understand or influence. Jyotish, in its authentic form, does something completely different. The word Jyotish comes from the Sanskrit root Jyoti, meaning light. It is literally the science of illumination, designed not to predict your life, but to shed light upon it, to reveal what is already there, already operating, already shaping your experience, so that you can become conscious of it. There are three pillars that Jyotish illuminates. First, karma. Your chart reflects accumulated patterns, not fixed, predetermined outcomes, but tendencies, energies, and themes that have been set in motion. Karma is not punishment, it is information. Second, timing. The cosmos moves in cycles, and your life responds to those cycles. There are natural periods of expansions and periods of consolidation, periods of outward action and periods of inward integration. Jyotish maps those cycles with extraordinary precision. Third, tendencies. You have natural strengths, places where energy flows easily and powerfully through you. You also have blind spots, growth edges, and patterns that may have been unconscious until now. Your chart reveals all of it, without judgment, without label. What I want you to take away from Module 1 is this. Jyotish is not a system that tells you what will happen. It is a system that asks you, now that you can see the patterns, now that you understand the timing, now that you know your tendencies, what will you do with that awareness? That is the very different kind of power. Every birth chart is written in a language, and like any language, it has an alphabet. Once you learn that alphabet, the entire system becomes readable. Not in 5 years, in a matter of weeks, sometimes days. There are three elements that form the foundation of every chart. Think of them as the alphabet of Jyotish. And once we have gone through these three, I want you to notice how quickly things start to click. The first element is planets. In Jyotish, planets are not understood as distant balls of rocks and gas floating in outer space. They are understood as living archetypal forces, energies that operate within you just as they operate within the cosmos. You carry Mars inside you, you carry Venus inside you, you carry Saturn inside you. The question is simply, how are they configured in your birth chart? How do they relate to one another? Where do they express themselves? Take Mars for an example. Mars is the principle of drive, will, courage, and assertion. Wherever Mars sits in your birth chart, that is where this fierce, forward moving energy wants to express itself. It might show up in your career, relentless ambition. It might show up in your relationship, intensity, passion, sometimes conflict. The placement tells the story. The second element is houses. Your chart is divided into 12 houses, and each house represents a specific area of life. The first house is self, identity, body, presence. The seventh house is relationship, romantic partnership, business partnership. The 10th house is career, reputation, public life. So each house is the stage upon which the planets perform. So when we say the seventh house represents relationship, we're not saying that your relationships are determined by the seventh house. We are saying that whatever planets occupy or influence that house will shape how you show up in partnership. Completely different person to person. The third element is signs. Signs describe the quality of energy, the style, the texture, the flavor. Scorpio is penetrating, intense, investigative. Pisces is expansive, fluid, receptive. Aries is initiating, bold, direct. Signs tell you how the energy flows, not just that it is there. Planets, the living force. Houses, the areas of life. Signs, the style of expression. These three elements, these infinite combinations, one completely unique story of yours. Now, I want to address something that many of you may have experienced and that may have even put you off astrology in the past. How many of you have ever been told you are a Scorpio, so you are controlling? Or you are a Libra, so you cannot make decisions? Or you are a Sagittarius, so you are a commitment phobic? This is a trap of sun sign astrology, and it is one of the reasons why serious Vedic teachers have always maintained a careful distance from this popularized form of Western astrology. Because reducing a human being to a single sign is not just astrology, it is a caricature. In Jyotish, your chart is not a label, it is a living story, and it is yours alone. No two charts are identical. Even twins, born minutes apart, may have different rising signs, which changes the orientation of the entire chart. The real magic begins when you see how planets, houses, and signs interact. A planet in a house, expressed through a sign, this combination creates a unique narrative. And when you have 12 houses, 9 classical planets, and 12 signs, the possible combinations are astronomical. Literally. On this slide, you see the formula. Planet plus house plus signs equals a complex multi-layered story. The living force operating in a specific area of your life, expressing yourself in a particular style. This is the sentence. Your birth chart is made of dozens of these sentences, each interwoven with each other, creating a text that is completely, uniquely yours. So, if someone ever summarizes you as just a Leo or typical Capricorn, you can smile and know they are seeing perhaps one sentence out of 100. You are far more than that. Your birth chart reflects the full complexity of who you are. I want to ask you a question, and I want you to genuinely sit with it for a moment. Have you ever worked just as hard in one year as you did in another, but the results were completely different? Same effort, same intention, same person, But in 1 year, doors opened, opportunities arrived, things moved, and in another year, with equal or greater effort, you seemed to be pushing against an invisible wall. Nothing landed, nothing flowed. Or perhaps you have felt a sudden unexplained shift in your energy, your relationships, your sense of direction, with no clear external reasons. Suddenly, everything feels different. A new chapter has begun, even if you cannot name it. This is not random. This is not luck. And it is not a reflection of your worth, of your work ethics. This is Dasa. Dasa is the Vedic system of planetary timing, and it is, in my view, one of the most remarkable contributions that ancient Vedic wisdom has made to the science of self understanding. It maps your life not as a flat lifetime or a timeline, but as a series of distinct planetary periods, each with its own quality, its own theme, its own invitation. In the Dasa system, you are governed at any given time by a particular planet. That planet colors everything. The kind of opportunities that arise, the challenges that emerge, the inner states you visit most frequently. You are not the same person in Saturn period as you are in a Venus period. Not because you change, but because different dimensions of you are being illuminated and activated. Some periods are expansive. Abundance arrives, relationships deepens, doors open seemingly without effort. These are often Jupiter or Venus periods. Some periods are contracting. They ask for discipline, simplicity, letting go. These tend to be Saturn periods. Some periods are intensely transformative. Old structures fall. Something entirely new must be born. These are often the periods of Rahu or Ketu. Knowing your dasa does not make difficult periods disappear, but it does something equally powerful. It gives them meaning. Instead of fighting the current, you begin to understand what this period is for. You stop forcing expansion during a contraction phase. You stop retreating during an expansion phase. You begin to flow. Timing is not luck, it is a science, and you can learn to read it. The most powerful moment in learning Jyotish is when you look back at your own life and the pieces suddenly fit. I want to offer you a reflection prompt right now. You do not need to write anything down unless you want to. Simply let the questions move through you. Think of the last 5 years of your life. Were there clear chapters? A shift in relationships? Perhaps a significant union or a significant loss? A shift in career? A breakthrough or a period of stagnation? A shift in your inner world? A spiritual opening? A period of depression or confusion? A sudden clarity? A shift in your sense of self? Who you thought you were no longer fitting the person you are becoming? Those chapters have names in Jyotish. They were not random, they were planetary periods, and each one was teaching you something specific. A difficult, heavy stretch of 2 or 3 years where responsibilities multiplied, where you were stripped of what was unnecessary. This is very often a Saturn dasa. Saturn does not punish. Saturn refines. It asks, who are you? What is real? What can endure? A period of sudden creative awakening, beauty, pleasure, connection, inspirations flowing in. This very often marks a Venus or a Jupiter period. These planets are benevolent, expansive, and generous. And then there are periods of Rahu and Ketu, the shadow planets, the lunar nodes. These periods are often described as intensely transformative. They tend to destabilize what no longer serves, amplify desires or renunciation in surprising ways, and accelerate evolution. They are disorienting and deeply necessary. When you can look at a chapter of your life and say, ah, that was my Rahu period, something profound happens. You stop taking it personally. You stop wondering if you failed. You understand that you were in a particular current and you navigated it as best you could. And now you can navigate the next one with more awareness. That is the gift of Dasa. We arrive now at module 4, and this is where Mool Rahasya Gurukul diverges most significantly from what you will find in conventional Jyotish teaching. Most courses stops at planets, houses, and signs. They give you a vocabulary for reading the chart and they stop there. This is like learning the words of a language but never learning the grammar, the deeper structure that gives you all the words' meanings. We go deeper into what I call the elemental layer, the layer or the level that underlies the entire astrological system. And at this level, we are not just talking about astrology, we're talking about a map of consciousness itself. The ancient Vedic and Samkhya philosophies understood existence as the interplay of four fundamental principles, four elements or tattvas. These are not merely symbols, these are forces that operate within nature, within cosmos, and within you. Fire. This is the principle of transformation, the force that burns away what is old and renews what is essential. Where fire dominates in your chart, you are dynamic, initiating, visionary. You do not just want to understand life, you want to change it. You carry a sacred restlessness. Earth. This is a principle of stability, the force that grounds, sustains, endures. Where earth dominates, you are particularly practical, patient, embodied. You build, you tend, you create things that last. Your gift is presence, real, tangible, trustworthy presence. Air. This is the principle of connection, the force that links, communicates, relates. Where air dominates, you are intellectual, relational, mobile. You move between words effortlessly. Your gift is synthesis, the ability to weave together what others see as separate. Water. This is the principle of depth, the force that feels, intuits, receives. Where water dominates, you are emotionally intelligent, sensitive, perceptive. Your senses what other misses. Your gift is depth. You do not skim the surface of experience, you live beneath it. Every chart has a unique elemental signature, a a particular balance, an emphasis of these four forces. And when you understand your elemental signature, something extraordinary happens. You stop trying to force yourself into modes of being that are simply not yours. You stop apologizing for being deeply feeling or intensely initiating or endlessly connecting. You understand that it is not a personality flaw, it is a fundamental frequency. This is not just astrology. This is a map how you experience reality at the level of consciousness, not just personality. I want to tell you directly what makes this system different and why I believe it matters. Most astrology tells you what will happen. Most astrological consultations end with the client feeling either reassured or anxious, and either way, slightly more dependent on the astrologer than when they came in. That model concerns me deeply because I believe that the purpose of genuine self knowledge is always self liberation, not dependency, not passivity, inner authority. At Mool Rahasya Gurukul, we operate from three principles. First, we do not predict, we illuminate. Our role is not to tell you what fate has decreed. Our role is to bring light to what is already operating in your life so you can meet it consciously. Second, we do not label, we reveal patterns. You are not your Saturn, you are not your Rahu, you are a complex conscious being, and your chart reveals the patterns you are working with, not a fixed identity you are stuck inside. Third, we do not create dependency, we build your inner authority. The highest outcome of this teaching is that you no longer need us to read your chart for you. You can read it yourself. You understand your own timing, your own tendencies, your own elemental nature. You carry the map and you know how to use it. In the Mool Rahasya full program, which goes far beyond these foundations, you will learn to read your own chart as a complete map of your inner world. You will integrate the elements, the planetary consciousness, the karmic themes, and the dasa timing into a unified living system, not as an intellectual exercise, as a genuine practice of self inquiry. This is not normal astrology, and it is the exact point. Because normal astrology has not done enough. It has given people pieces of a picture without the philosophy that makes sense of the whole. It has told them what to fear without showing them how to grow. It has treated that the chart as a destination rather than a doorway. We are interested in the doorway. We have covered a great deal in these four modules, and I want to take a moment to honor what you have received. You now understand that Jyotish is a map of karma, timing, and tendencies, not a system of fixed date. You understand that your chart speaks in a learnable language, planets, houses, and signs, and that language is now beginning to open for you. You understand that life unfolds in distinct phases, and that those phases have names, and those names have meaning. And you have touched the deepest layer of this system, the elemental map of consciousness, which lies beneath everything else. That is not nothing, that is a foundation. And a foundation is exactly what is designed to be, something you build upon. I want to speak to you directly now, person to person, teacher to student. I created this free course because I believe that every person who comes into contact with Jyotish deserves an understanding, an honest, grounded, philosophically rigorous introduction to it. Not a teaser, not a test designed to leave you confused. A real foundation, one you can stand on. And now that you are standing on it, I want to invite you further. The full Mool Rahasya Gurukul program goes where this course only points. You will learn to read your own birth chart, not just understand the concepts, but actually sit with your chart and see your own story in it. You will map your dasa timeline, past, present, and future, and understand the quality and invitation of each period. You will go deep into the elemental layer, integrating Vedic philosophy and Samkhya cosmology in a way that makes the chart come alive as a living document. And you will develop your inner authority, the capacity to hold on your own life with wisdom, perspective, and genuine self compassion. This is not a course about becoming an astrologer, although some students do. This is a course about becoming more deeply and consciously yourself. The map is in your hands. What will you do with it? If you feel called to go further, and I hope you do, click the link below and join us in the full Mool Rahasya Gurukul community on School. Come and meet the other students who are walking this path. Ask questions, share insights, let the learning be alive. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your openness and your seriousness. This tradition has survived for thousands of years because students exactly like you have kept showing up to receive it. I will see you on the inside.